Welcome to Content Chaos with George and Call, a weekly podcast diving straight into meaningful conversations about navigating modern life. Using their weekly review framework, they explore personal growth, professional insights, and cultural observations. No fluff, just authentic dialogue that transforms chaos into clarity.
Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome to episode 40.
Holy cow, 40. That's crazy.
Yep.
I the aspiring Fred Norris. I love it. Thank you, honey. That's awesome. Well, I decided to come outside again because I enjoyed last week and nothing beats springtime in New Jersey. It is like absolutely glorious. The sun, the trees, the birds, the giant construction site next door that never seems to they never get started. To our listeners, we have had this situation now. This is year 2, right?
Yeah,
Going
we're
on
somewhere in year 2. Yeah.
We're
I
in
think.
year 2, like probably on the verge of year 3 of the lot next door being a complete mess, and they never quite get it started, and there's like a giant hill of dirt that is, you could just see it over the fence, and yeah. We don't need to start with that, do we?
We did. Sounds like we did.
We did. Okay, well then let's move on to what went well in the past week.
What went well in the past week? It was Memorial Day weekend and the weather was not great, but I feel like we knew that it wasn't going to be great and we kind of, rolled with it and we got out to see a movie. We, had time with everyone, here. We had like a movie night in the house at home.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the youngest had a sleepover. We made it and then we were rewarded on Monday with, from like 1 o'clock on, the sun came out. We got to play tennis.
So yeah.
So I feel like all things considered, we navigated that pretty well. I've had other rainy holiday weekends where it just feels like more of a miss, and it was just like, okay, this was good. So I think that went well.
Yeah, it went well. We loved the Michael Jackson movie. Um I think I would say everyone in the family enjoyed it. We had dinner on the deck, which was
Yep.
also, some people were asking for that. The town pool, the New Providence town pool opened, and Maeve got to go, so she was very happy about that. I would add for my what went well, yes, I already said New Jersey Spring. Um, just enjoying our downtown. I actually did not go to the parade, but it was nice that we have a parade in town, and Maeve was able to go with her friends to the Memorial Day parade. Also just grateful for my local yoga studio. It's Sana Yoga, which is where I was this morning. And that is keeping me sane and regulated in a wacky world that we live in.
Yeah.
Okay, so switching gears to what could have been better.
I think uh I'm getting a lot of we talked about this last week a little bit, I think, but I'm getting a lot of the early career negativity stuff. Just people having a hard time, young people graduating,
Oh
graduations are
yeah.
happening. And in my world, because I'm in the world of, workforce and work, from a business perspective, I'm just seeing a lot of that struggle. I think that could definitely be better. Um, I'm I'm seeing a lot of uh, what feels like the beginning of some pushback on the whole AI wave. I'm not sure that it's I think the train's left the station, so
No,
there's no
no, it
stopping
hasn't.
AI, but
There-
okay, go ahead. What's
I cut you off. Sorry.
it's okay. Um, so I don't think there's any stopping it. That's my opinion. I think the thing that this could do and that these voices are good for is to create more of a movement individually and potentially result in some regulation, when things change in Washington, here in the US. Elsewhere in the world, things are a little different, but I think I just think all of this, it's sort of all falls in with what could be better for me.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off there. Anytime someone says the train has left the station and there's no stopping AI, like I have a reflexive reaction to that because I think there is there is ways to stop it and to slow it down. Um, for example, like there is proposed legislation in the state of New Jersey to put a moratorium on AI development and AI data centers and all of this stuff. There was a protest in Cranford on Saturday against the Kenilworth AI data center from CoreWeave. Like, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that all these very capital, power, chip intensive um, projects are going to proceed. I mean, I think that in past times, there wasn't the transparency that there is now, and that people are pushing back on it. Most of the US tech buildouts of AI infrastructure data centers are delayed or canceled. A majority of them are. So, sorry, I just had an overreaction to that. AI itself is not to be stopped, and that I understand. I just think we can um, have a moderated approach to it. And then the youth unemployment, there's an article in the Wall Street Journal today that 48 is the highest youth unemployment rate since 1948, which is just sad, like that we've created this world for, you know, kids. Um but so what could be better for me from my point of view, I think very much in line with what you're saying. Um Young people struggling to find work, uh AI kind of advancing at this crazy pace, and people not pausing, although it was good to hear the Pope calling for some restraint as well. Um, let's see. As far as what could be better, I really wanted to get Mike D tickets on Friday night. He was playing in Brooklyn. I didn't get to go. Um, there was a big protest at outside of the ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey. Governor Mikey Sherrill was there, and our Senator Andy Kim was there. And ICE were just acting like a bunch of thugs, and they actually even tear gassed Andy Kim, which is absurd. Um, and it's just more proof of why local movements to protest this stuff, especially the Roxbury detention center, um, people need to band together to do that. Um, and okay, so what did you learn this week?
This week I've been, launching new things at work and several new things, and so I've been working with AI to launch a new framework course of sorts into the market that's out there now. I launched the new redesigned website, and now I'm in the process of launching a major report series and a client specific report. Um, any one of these things would have like overwhelmed me for a long period of time before, but I've
Yeah,
had all of them multi-streaming at the same time, and I'm delivering these things faster than ever before. But learning a lot. The learning is really coming into integrating it all online. So while I spend a lot of time, telling, in this case, Claude what I want, I don't have it do the build for me. It brings me the code and then I upload it, and that's where a lot of the learning is happening, as far as how these things all, interrelate across the site and design aspects. So that's been for me, that's fun. But so there's been just a lot there. Yeah. How about you?
What I've learned, so regarding these AI data centers and the ICE stuff and all the stuff that's going on, I've been looking very closely and learning about local news. Local news kind of got destroyed by the internet and various forces a long time ago. And so I've been trying to find like high quality local news sources, and they're really hard to come by. Like you have to really deeply, like I find myself not even having, like I will go to the Summit Council meeting where they brought up AI data centers in Summit, New Jersey. Like I have to go in there myself because I can't really find it written up anywhere. Um, and so, of course, that means there's a business opportunity around local news. And of course, it's already, in the works. Like Axios, the company that owns Axios, they're trying to roll out they're in the process of rolling out a local news thing. And I just think that's a very more business adjacent and Trump administration friendly mindset is Axios and those related properties. So I'm curious, like, what's going to happen? There's like all these influencers who are picking up the picking up the slack of the lack of local news, and it's just interesting, and it's just something I'm really looking at closely.
Yeah. That is interesting. I wasn't sure along the way if you were gonna talk about, the canvassing, that we
Oh
did.
yeah.
I didn't go there because you really initiated it, but that was another thing we did that I enjoyed it, and it was, one of the educational things there was the misinformation, and we were literally physically running into misinformation just in the form of, pamphlets that were being mailed to the doors that we were knocking on
Yes.
about the candidate that we were canvassing for. So that was interesting. It's sort of with the lack of local news, or the challenge with local news, it's kind of related to your
It is
point here.
100% related. And I actually just reposted one of my articles on LinkedIn about how media literacy is like one of the most important things to be teaching in schools in the AI age, and investigating sources of information. But, this candidate that we were canvassing for, her name is Rebecca Bennett, and she is running for NJ7. Um, and a super PAC that is based in um, Nebraska. I think it's Nebraska. Spent a $500,000 doing on a misinformation about her because they know that if she wins as a Democratic candidate, the likelihood is she will beat Tom Keene Jr., the Republican in this race. And so they're spending money on it. And then also within the race, one of her opponents, Shaw, I can't remember her first name, she spent money on attack ads, which are very trashy. I just think that's not helpful in an environment like this. But in any case, the misinformation that was paid for by the super PAC, the Republican super PAC, had a picture of her, and it was an AI generated version of her. So it was like it was a really unflattering version of her. And it's funny because just today she ended up doing an ad like making fun of how bad the AI slop version of her was. But and they're saying that she was pro ICE, and she's not pro ICE. She said she wouldn't necessarily abolish ICE because it's part of a you can't just, abolish ICE. They do have a function to it's been subverted and put in a very twisted direction. Um, but of course the Republicans twisted her words and blah blah blah. She's very anti the ICE actions that have been going on lately. So
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
it's we're in an environment where you can't even tell, like, fair is foul, foul is fair. People can't even trust. Like, when we were canvassing, people that we went to their doors, like, they did not know what to believe. They like, one of them was holding that misinformation piece of information, so, you have to, like even I struggle, and I have a master's degree in mass communication. I worked in big media, and even I struggle of like, what is really behind this? So, yeah, it's a lot to learn. I think local news is going to be rebuilt, and to people, not knowing who to trust. I say trust your instincts. Trust not external information, but things that you see. Uh, you know, people like to me, I call people and talk to people, and I go in person. Trust but verify. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it around issues like politics, it kind of speaks to the need to get involved and just even just participate from a, take go hear them speak,
yeah,
go, get engaged or do the research. But yeah, it's hard.
it shows also right now how important those local government roles are because at that summit hearing that I was referencing, one of the persons on the summit borough council is married to the SVP of strategy at CoreWeave. Like it's which is not necessarily their, it's a company. I don't know much about it, but I'm just saying like we have to explore and be cognizant of people's biases, incentives, and a lot of times local governments, people who are in these roles, they have friends in high places and stuff like that.
All right. We did it.
Okay, all righty,
Episode 40.
all
Done and
right.
dusted. All right.
Thanks, dear.
See you next week.